Hey guys, I'm Aaron, and today we're going to use layout to create some simple assembly instructions. So a few weeks ago, I used SketchUp to design a real simple storage shelf for my garage. Then last week, went through and talked about creating scenes and setting up the SketchUp file so it'd be easy to pull into layout. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to take those scenes I created, pull them in to make this one-sheet instruction manual. Is it a manual if it's just one sheet? This one sheet instruction, I don't know, we're gonna make this in layout and we're gonna do it right now. Okay, so pretty simple. I just have a letter piece of paper, no guides, I don't need any other stuff like that. We're just gonna make this, we're gonna go pretty easy on this one. So first I'm gonna do is I gotta get a model in here. So I'm gonna go to File and I'm going to Insert. And I'm going to grab my garage shelf. And there it goes. It comes in on one of the scenes. So before I go any further, we're going to go clean this up, make a couple changes here. So the big changes I want to make is I want to do everything in vector. This is real simple rectangles being drawn, so I want everything to be super clean. So I'm going to switch this to vector. It changes a little bit. My colors become a little desaturated, but really pretty simple. Just know that I have nice clean. It'll show up better on like the hero image than it does here. But the other thing I'm going to do is I don't need this background color. I'd rather just be clear. So I'm going to go to my style dropdown. All of this is in the SketchUp model window, and I'm going to turn off background. That's going to give me just the lines, no other pieces outside here. Cool, simple, easy. Now let's look at what's inside here. So right now, let's see, we got my cutting scene. Well, that's nice, but that's, well, actually, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's start with that. I'm going to put the cutting sheet up here to the top right corner. So I'm going to take this and we need to shrink it down. So, I mean, I need it to be, it can't be taking up most of the sheet. So something more like that. I'm not really worried about scale. I'm going to put some dimensions on here, but really the scale itself is not a big concern for me. So I'm gonna let it auto scale. That looks good. Yeah, like that. Maybe I'll slide it over a little bit. Plenty of room for everything else. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in here. I'm gonna do some very basic stuff here. I'm gonna want some dimensions on length. So these are my 2x4s. They're being cut to a specific length. This is my OSB. It's being cut. So let's go in here and put some dimensions on here. I'm just gonna grab my dimension, click from here to here, and pull it out. 8 foot, perfect. I'm gonna use default dimensions on this. I've done videos not that long ago on all the settings you can change in here for dimensions. So if you want to go into a deep dive on there, the video's up there. But for the most part, I want lengths on my 2x material, and then I'm gonna need both dimensions on my OSB. Boom, that's the only cutting I really need. Now, I want to label these because these things are going to be used over and over again throughout my assembly, and I want to get them labeled now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by making a very simple label. I'm going to come in right here. I'm going to grab my text. I'm going to click right here, and I'm just going to type a capital A. That's this piece's name. I'm not going to just have a A floating around all willy-nilly though. We're going to make this into a actual label by simply putting a circle around. So I'm going to click at this center, pull it out like that. I'm going to select that and turn off my fill. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I need 3 more of these because I have 3 pieces of wood and my OSB, so I need 3 total. So I'm going to grab both pieces, the circle and, oh, I didn't need this. So I'll try it again. The circle and the label. And I'm going to option move that over here, and I'm going to do it again. Move that over here, and one more time. I move the center off. I do that a lot. I click on that little thing and just drag it all over the model. Fortunately, I don't rotate a whole lot of stuff, so it's okay. So I'm doing this before I make these into groups, just to save myself a click. So I'll click in here, B, double click here, C, double click here, D, and now I can come in and I can actually make this into a group. Making into a group is going to mean it's going to be easier to move. It's going to be easier to copy, less likely to break apart, grab the circle and not the label or something like that. So there we go. Now I'll just put these where they go. This one's pretty close to where I want it, just above there. B is going to be our next one. There we go. And then let's grab C, move C down to right about there. And then I'll just put D. I'll break with it. It's sheathing, so it gets labeled in the middle. These ones are right over, and this one's not quite right. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm just use my arrow keys to tap, tap, tap a few times and get that closer to the right spot. All right, there we go. So that's pretty simple. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the labels. I'm going to grab all of this, right click, and make it into a new group. This way, as I'm putting my page together, if I decide, oh, I need to scoot this over more, or I need to move it down here, I don't have to come in here and make sure I get everything selected. One click, and I can put my cutting sheet or my cutting info wherever I want. All right, I'm going to add one more bit of data to this, and that is I want to do a quick pick list. A pick list is going to be a list of the materials that I need to pull in order to cut this. So fairly simple. I need 2 sheets of OSB, 24 2x4s, 8 foot long. That's my whole list. So I will admit I did not use an extension or anything like that to do that. I looked at the model and counted them. It's pretty simple. We can talk about things like material lists or component lists or something like that in another video, but right now this is so simple. It would have taken me more time to find the right extension to download rather than just make this. In fact, here's how big my entire pick list is going to be. So I'm just going to be 2x3. I'm going to drag it across to like there. So when you first place it, again, I'm not going to import data in here. We're just going to add some simple data. It just gets added as these symmetric fields. If I come in here, click, I can do a couple things. I can grab these two like that, right click, and I can tell it to merge. And then I'll just put my title here. And this is just going to be my pick list like that. I'm going to slide this middle piece over like that, shrink it down a little. Perfect. And in here, I'll say, this is where I want to put 24X. And I'm just going to put 8 foot 2x4. I'm gonna call this out now. I know there's so many different ways. Everybody has different ways and everybody's way is standard of putting this kind of stuff. I like putting the quantity on one side and then the material over here. If you wanted to have the quantity, length, and material call out, you could do 3. Do this however you want. It's your thing. You're in charge. So I'm gonna say 2x, and that is for my 4 foot by 8 foot oriented strand board. Okay, so that's my pick list. Now I could make this part of this group. I'm going to keep it separate because again, as I move this around, I might choose to put this in a different spot, but that's going to give me the most flexibility by leaving it separate like that. Okay, there we go. That's done. Now let's move on. Let's actually start showing how to assemble this thing. So what I'm going to do is let's hop in here and I'm just going to grab this. This is the model window. I'm going to hit Command C to copy it, come out of my group, Command V to paste it, and then I'm just going to scoot it right over here. So to start with, it's just a copy, straight across. I'm going to change this, of course, because we're going to come in here and we're going to say, okay, we'll start by assembling the shelf. So I'm going to grab my scene shelf 1, and I don't want to go much wider than this, right? Because this right now is about half the page. If it goes any wider, it's going to come into my cut list, and I don't really need it to do a whole lot more than just show where these 4 pieces are. So we could probably make this a little smaller. I could do this with scale and that kind of thing, but the easiest thing to do here is I'm just going to double click, and I'm just going to scroll out a little bit, pan out, there we go. And then I can use my hand to put it where I want. And yeah, we'll get it right about the center because it's a nice isometric view there, or a perspective view. That's good. If I want to lock it now, because I don't need this big of a, if I come here and do this, watch what happens. It starts moving. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is while it's selected, I'm going to hit preserve scale, and that's going to let me just grab this, slide it up like that, grab this, slide it down like that, and then I can take that and move it up here. All right, so we're going to call this step 1. I'm gonna do one more thing to this before I finish. I'm gonna turn a stroke on and just put something around there so it doesn't have pieces floating around. And then I'm gonna zoom in up here. I'm gonna put the text right here. It's gonna say step 1. And then I'll scoot that up like that. And just to tie it together, just getting creative. I'm thinking of stuff I could do. I'm gonna put that right like that, turn the fill off. Whoops, gotta select it. Turn the fill off. So with things like drawing, you can either set the properties in the window first and then draw it, or you can draw it and then change the properties after. I tend to go back and edit after just because when I'm in my flow, I'd rather get stuff in, even if it's not perfect, I have to go back and change it later. But a lot of people do like to make sure that their properties are all set when they first start a command. That's your call. You do that how you want. All right, so the other thing I want to put on here is that what are each of these pieces? So I need to label all 5 pieces with these labels. I also need to build 4 of these, so I need to put a note that says build 4. So let's start with labels. I'm going to come over here to my cut list, and in here I have an A and a C, so I'm going to just double click in here. I'm going to grab my A, Shift, grab my C, again Command C to copy, come out of that group, Command V to paste, and it pastes it right in the same spot automatically. So I'll just slide this over to where I want my A label, like that. Looks good. And then I will deselect, grab my C label, and put that up right here. And then we do an Option copy to copy C right here, and Option copy to put A right there. All right, looking pretty good. Let's put that note in here. So I'm gonna make this real simple. I'm just gonna type 4x. There we go. And I'll probably put that up in this corner, something like this. That's really not calling much attention to itself. So I'm going to double click to highlight it, and we go to my window, and I'm going to bring up my fonts, and let's increase the size of that thing. Not huge, but maybe, yeah, 4. That looks good. And let's add a color here. I got a color printer. Why not? All right, there we go. 4x. Perfect. And once we do this once, I'll be able to use this on other drawings too. So I only have to put this on here one time, and then I can copy it. I'm gonna do the same thing like I was talking about before. When I come into rectangles, now it's inferencing the last rectangle I edited. So this time it should draw that without the fill because that's what I did before. All right, that looks good. There's my step 1. Nope, let's go a little further. Let's get some motion in here. Let's talk about how we're putting this thing together. Let's go grab the pencil, and I want to draw something that is, I'm going to go back to that red color, and I also want this to be an arrow, so I'm going to put a little arrowhead right here, and I'm going to say this piece should go this way. This piece should go this way. This piece going to go this way. This piece down here, that's going to go that way. All right, so we have a little bit of an assembly and see how the pieces come together. What is that? What did I do right here? I got a little blob. All right, let me zoom in. Oh, no, I don't have a little blob. It was tricking me. All right, now that I got all those pieces, I can grab all of this, right click, and then I'm just going to say make group. Now, for step 2, which is again a scene I already created, I'm going to hit Option copy, bring this group down like that. And now I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to go in here, go into context. This will be step 2, so I'll come change that to step 2. Still need 4 of them. I'm going to take my image. Actually, first, just to make this less confusing, I'm going to delete my arrows because I don't need those arrows. Nope. And I'm going to grab the model window and change it to shelf 2. There we go. Pretty good. I'm going to, we're going to make some changes there a little bit. I might double click in here and just slide this down. That looks good. All right. And I don't need all these tags. I can get rid of this one and get rid of this one and get rid of this one. I really only need one, and it should say D. So I can just bring that up there. I could go, if I wanted to, I could actually come in and copy this out of this group and paste it over here, but really it was simpler to change that. And now we have our 4 shelves built. I want to add some additional detail because I don't have a because I wanna. That's why I want to make sure. I want to call attention to the overlap here. The long piece goes through, then the small piece comes inside. I want to make sure that that is clearly illustrated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this group. I'm going to grab the model file. I'm going to hit Command C to copy. I'm going to come out. Whoops. I'm a little heavy-handed with my scroll wheel. I don't know if anybody else hits that problem, but I tend to scroll a little hard. And I'm gonna hit Command V to paste it. It's pasted in the same spot again, so I'm just gonna bring it down here. And what we're gonna do is I want to zoom in right on this corner. So I'm gonna double click in here, zoom in here until I get a nice, fairly decent size. There we go. Now, I don't want to use up this much space. I want to go much smaller than that. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I'm going to grab a circle. I click right about in the middle of the detail, and I'm just going to pull that circle out. Whoops. What did I hit? Let's go. Oh, because it's using my edges that I used before. So let's go ahead and put the stroke back to black and turn that arrow off. Like, how am I even doing what I'm doing? I'm just so talented. All right, let's go ahead and just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this circle, and I'm going to grab this drawing, the model window, and I'm just going to right click and say create clipping mask. And that's going to give me that. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. I want to call out that this is this. So I'm going to come in and make a new circle. I'm going to zoom back in here. Same thing, make a much smaller circle, like same spot like that. There we go. And I'm going to draw a couple lines from about here to about here. And then another one maybe from here-ish back to here. And I'm just eyeballing it. That's close enough for, I don't like where that one landed, so I'll grab it by the end. I'll put it back like that. And then I'm going to grab both of these and change it to a dashed line. Yeah, that's what I want. See, that's obviously calling detail out there. So let's go add a little bit more. I want to call out that there should be screws right here. So I'm going to grab just a polygon. And I'm really not too stressed about how this is drawn. That's perfect. That's fine. But let's go ahead and I'll fill them with red. I like red. I mean, it's red. Red calls attention to things, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. I'm gonna modifier to copy one straight down. There we go. And now I'm gonna put a couple notes right over here. So I'm just gonna come here. I'm just gonna draw a box like this. It's not gonna actually be a box, but that's gonna kind of bind where my text that I type in here. So let's see, we had in here the B piece should run long at all corners and screw to C. All right, there we go. That's the only note I really want on there. So actually, let's separate those 2 points. All right, that looks good. So I'm gonna bring that right here. And if I want to make this look a little bit more like the callouts similar, I could do this too. So I can grab a circle, and I can actually put a circle into the text. So if by doing that right there, it's not confusing what B is, because it looks exactly like it does on the label. So just something I can do to make that a little bit, you know, better. So I'm going to start by grabbing all this. I'm going to make that into a group. I'll grab all of this plus this little circle here. We'll make that a group. And then you know what I'm missing on here? I don't have my cool arrows. So I'm going to hop back over here, go turn my red back on, and then grab my arrows, and then say from here, whoops, go grab that. Just gonna say, whoops, did I do a start arrow? I did a start arrow. No arrow on the start, on the end. There we go. right, so I'm gonna click right here. That's gonna come down like that. And then one over here, come down like that. There we go. So now I got some motion in there. I just like that. That looks pretty nice. All right, so there we go. So that looks pretty good. Let's keep going. So this is the information to build my 4 shelves. Now I need to build my 4 corners. So, and that'll be step 3. So I'll do the same thing. I'll double click in here, grab this. Actually, no, I'm gonna grab the whole, I wanna grab the whole thing, not just the model window. So I'm gonna come out, here we go. Option, copy that down to the bottom like that. Now I can come in here, get rid of some of these pieces. I don't need that, I don't need that. This is gonna be step 3. Oops. All right, and actually this should be upright like this, and then we'll extend the bottom down like this. Nope, that's stretched it all out. I don't want that. I want to double click in here. I want just the model window should get extended, not everything. When you have a group selected like that, when you stretch it, it's going to start stretching everything proportionately, but I didn't want that. This is all I want. I just want it to be longer. So then I can grab this piece right here and say, okay, this should actually be my corner information. Go ahead and reset that. Perfect. There's my corners. They're not in the right spot though, so I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. I'm gonna double click. I'm gonna just kind of scoot them around a little bit. That's really all I need, is right like about like that. Perfect. And these are not D's, but in fact are A's. Wait a minute. I labeled these ones totally wrong up here. This should be B and C, and I put A's on them. Oh, you guys probably already yelled at the screen about that, huh? Good thing I got you here to QC. All right, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna come in here, zoom in tight. All right, this is a real A, as is this. All right, and let's see. Let's jump back real quick. This is bugging me now, but I made a mistake. First one ever, and you guys saw it. All right, I'm gonna make it a B. And then of course this one too is a B. Okay. There we go, B's and C's. That's what we should be seeing. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back down here. This all looks good still. I'm gonna put some arrows in here too. So I'm gonna go grab my line. Let's say hypothetically, this goes back to black and doesn't have an end on it. Right, and I go, okay, put this here to here, and here to here. Oh shoot, I forgot that. Well, fortunately, it's not too hard to fix, because what I can do is I can grab both of these lines that I just drew, select them, and then what I'll do is hit this little eyedropper, and then that's gonna apply the properties of whatever I click on next to my selected items. So if I can click on this one right here, boom, they show up there. So I was kind of getting in the process of trying to change it first, but it's really easier to just do it afterwards like that. A lot quicker. All right, and I'm gonna put a note in here as well. I'm gonna come in here. Oh, I'm still in my eyedropper. I'm gonna double click into this and do another text box, just something that says something about screwing screw A to A at 6 inches on center along entire length. That should hold it together. There we go. Looks good. And again, if I want to do the same thing I did before, I could come in with a circle. Stick that circle right here. Oh no! All right. It's always going to get me. Every single time I just trick myself. I trick myself into thinking I'm there, and then I'm not there. I don't got it. I think I got it, but I don't got it. All right, let me grab that. Just give a little scooch. All right, that. Oops, I'm making copies. I didn't mean to make copies. I just meant to grab this one and slide it over a little bit. right there. So sometimes you'll see this. As I start to move this, it might snap back to where the circle originally was. So sometimes I'll just grab something, slide it way over so I can get a clean shot as I bring this back in and try to get that centered like that. So just a thing to think about. All right, looks good. All right, last thing I want to do, we need some assembly dimensions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, for this one, I really don't, all I really need is this centerpiece. So I'm going to copy that, come out here, paste it, drag it up here. It's going to be much smaller, like that. And all I need to do really is dimension the shelf spacing. So what I'm going to do is come in here, I'm going to change this to my front view and reset the view. There we go. Go ahead and drag it over like that. Ooh, that's about perfect. I don't think I need the stroke around there. Perfect, like that. And then I'm going to grab that and slide it directly to the right and say, give me my side view on that one. And reset the view. Perfect. All right, so there we go. So now I have both of these. They're both lined up with each other. So if I put a dimension string down the middle, it'll apply to both. Oh, it would have, but I just bumped it. All right, undo, 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 undo. All right, there we go. Scene. Let's try that again. Nope, not front. Just sometimes I like to do the same thing over and over again, just to, just to keep myself in good practice. All right. So what I'm going to do is, I must not, my scenes weren't exactly perfect. I'll line them up in a second. So the first, all I really want to do is say how far is it between the shelves, and then how far is this gap at the bottom. Those are the only dimensions I need to put in. So I'll start at the bottom. I'm going to click right here, up to this line, and pull over my 2-inch dimension. And then I'm going to go from the bottom here to the bottom here. Come over and line that, let that snap right to that 2-inch. I might have to move them out. Here, up to here. Again, anywhere along that line, and then pull it out till it snaps right there. And then one more from here to here. And then I'm going to grab all of these. Oops. I got to thinking ahead there and did not pay attention where I clicked that. I'll slide that over. All right, and then let's grab all, whoa, I also dimensioned to something weird. All right, delete that. Back up. I'm getting towards the end of the project and I'm trying to speed things up and I need to just take a breath, right? Okay, this is fun. This is the fun stuff. I don't have to hurry up. All right, let's grab all of those, not you, and I'm just going to take them all this way. Oh, that was maybe a little too far. A little bit. All right, there we go. And then I'll just take this, tap that up a little bit so it lines up. All right, now there's my shelf locations, assembly of all my pieces. So really a couple things I want to add. I want to add a nice little hero. So I'm going to grab this one, option copy that down here, and then switch that to our hero scene. Reset it. Oh yeah, there it is. There in all of its simple. Oh, I got to turn off preserve scale. There we go. Just want that like that. You know what? I stopped grouping there, didn't I? I need to do a little more grouping because I think I grouped that. I did not group this stuff. So I want to get both of these highlighted, put that into a group. And there's our hero. And I might do a little, again, I didn't want to do title blocks and stuff like that. This is for me going out in my garage to build this thing. So maybe I'll just do a little bit of text down here. Grab a text box again, something like this, and then just say, this is my garage storage shelf. Let's say designed by me. And well, disclaimer on here, don't hurt yourself building this, and if you do, it's not my fault. There, full legal disclaimer included. All right, so that went beyond. See a little red arrow? That just tells me that my font went beyond, or my text went beyond. So I go like that. Bring this up a little bit. So before I pulled up remember when I pulled up the screen, or not the screen, the font window? That's okay, but it's kind of sometimes it's overkill, and there are certain things you can do without it. So if I want to take this and make it bold, I could do that by hitting Control B or Command B, and I'll put this in italics, and there we go. All right, and I'm gonna say that's it. This is enough information to put this little shelf unit together, and we did it all in layout. Yeah. Again, this is not something you would do for a full building, something like that, but the steps remain the same. So you're gonna go much larger, have more data, but the process you go through is very similar to what I would do for a full set of framing plans. Big asterisk on that, of course, because there's a lot of pieces you do in a framing plan, lots more schedules, lots more pages, but this ran through a lot of the basic stuff. So I want to show you how to put a table together real quick, different views, adding information on top, and then again, everything is in its own group. So if I did decide I want to put this on the front and the back of a page, I could grab half those things, copy them onto the next page, and then just put that on the back. So there is definitely a lot to here that's just foundational for layout. So I hope you like that. If you did like it, click like down below. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We create videos every single week around here, and you'll be notified of all of them if you subscribe. Most importantly, though, leave us a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this. Did I hit the right points? Did I miss anything that you wanted to see? Do you have an idea for another video like this? We're trying to figure out a way to get a little bit longer workflows together, something more than just our normal 10-minute fare. And we'd love to hear from you, your ideas on what those could be. So leave us in the comments. Leave us in the comments. Leave a comment in the comments. Yeah, that's where they go. We like making these videos a lot, but we like them even more when they're showing something you want to see. Thank you.